All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your spiritual vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and like and share this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, Terry, Kathy B, Wendy, Alice, Nessie X, Reggie, we the people. Okay, so let's get into it. Shout out to all my Stardusters in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about emotional blackmail. Okay, maybe you've ever been in a conversation with someone where you start to feel cornered. Okay, felt like you're being manipulated into feeling or doing something that you didn't want to do. You basically start to feel uncomfortable, like you're being bullied, okay, to a degree. So we're going to talk about it because this doesn't just happen in intimate relationships. It also happens in friendships to some people. You see, some people bully their friends and try to get their friends to do whatever they tell them to do, as if they don't have a mind of their own. They make decisions for them and then try to coerce them into going along with it, okay? Friendships and relationships, you can see these things happen. Okay, so let's talk about it because I'm going to tell you 8 phrases that these emotional blackmailers tend to use. These people are quite frankly often narcissists, control freaks, people who always want things to go their way, and they'll do whatever they need to do and say whatever they need to say to get it done. Okay, so let's get into it. It's verbal manipulation, and we're going to talk about these verbal cues that they use as their tactics to get people to bend to their will. Okay, so the first thing is you may be involved in a conversation with one of these types of people, and then the first thing they'll do when you express, being uncomfortable or not agreeing with them, or you may just go off at something they asked you to do or something that they've said to you, and then they'll quickly tell you that you're just overreacting. Okay, so they try to dismiss your feelings. One of the most common phrases that these emotional blackmailers use is they'll tell you you're overreacting. Okay, it's a classic move, and it's very effective for those who fall for it. Okay, this phrase is designed to make you question your own feelings and beliefs and your reaction, to make you second guess yourself. Okay, like, well, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I'm overthinking. That's what their goal is when they say this to you. Okay, and now mind you, the things that I'm going to tell you may be used by other people that are not trying to emotionally blackmail you, but I'm just letting you know that these are tactics specifically used when people are trying to emotionally blackmail you. Okay, so pay attention to that. So it's basically a way of telling you that your emotions are not valid. Okay, that you're just being too sensitive and clearly over dramatic. All right, they'll act like you're being a drama king or queen. But see, here's the thing. Your feelings are your feelings, and they do matter, and they are real. And at the end of the day, no one gets to dictate to you how you react to something that someone else has said or done. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, If someone is making you feel like you're overreacting, they're trying to control how you respond to their actions and words. And so the aim here is to make you doubt yourself, like I said, and then it gives them power over you and it helps them to lead the conversation and start to paint their narrative. Okay. It's low down, it's insidious. Okay. And it's something that's commonly done. Now, the second thing is they'll say, I'm only saying this for your own good. So they'll try to act as though they're actually giving you constructive criticism, which in cases some people do. Sometimes your friends, family, parents, and whomever will give you constructive criticism, but you have to be able to use discernment and decipher when someone's actually trying to help you or when someone's simply trying to manipulate you so that they can get what they want. When it's someone who has ulterior motives. Okay? So please pay attention. And some of this may sound familiar because maybe this has been done to you. And so it's like they're wrapping their manipulation in a cloak of concern and caring. Like they're pretending that they, have so much of your best interest in mind when they really don't. They're just trying to get you to do what they want. Okay. So they'll tell you it's only for your own good. And they make you start questioning your own judgment, like you're making mistakes and really as if you can't think for yourself. Now, but then you have to remind yourself that you know what's best for you. Okay? How is someone else going to tell you what's the best thing for you to do? They don't even know the whole story. They may know things that you've told them or shared with them in confidence, but they don't know the truly whole story of your overall life and situations. And so the only one that should be making decisions about certain things are you specifically. Now, when someone uses this phrase, they're basically using it to try and control your choices. And it's under the guise of wanting, the best for you. It's a way of making you second guess and doubt your own decisions. And then the third thing that these people will do, they'll say, well, if you really cared about me, okay, now they want to make you feel as though you're somehow slighting them because you don't want to go along with what they're saying or what they're asking you to do. So now they're making it all about them. Okay. And this one just really gets on my last nerve when people have tried it. Okay. And like I said, this isn't just in intimate relationships with your partner or spouse. This can be, even your boss at work. It can be one of your close friends. Okay. Because people do this for a myriad of different reasons. So, and for example, there was a situation where a scenario, shall I say, where someone was planning a trip with another person and they had to work or they had a work commitment that they didn't want to break. And so they clashed on the date that they were supposed to take this trip and they couldn't, come to a mutual agreement. And so the one person who had to work suggested that, why don't we just move the date to something else? And then the other person wasn't happy about it and said, well, if you really cared about me, you just make the time. I mean, your job's going to be there. You can take a few days off. Okay, I'm sorry. Say what? How are they going to tell you what you can do, especially when it pertains to your finances? Okay, and so then they leave some of these people who fall for this tactic. It leaves them feeling guilty and anxious. And these are often the people who often tend to fall for this are people pleasers. Those who want, to keep everything smooth. They don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. They don't want to make anyone upset with them. And so they'll just go along to get along in many cases. And the fourth thing they'll do is they'll tell you that you're just being selfish, when really they're the ones being selfish because they're trying to get you to do what they want you to do. They don't care and have no regard for what you need or want. Okay, so when someone accuses you of being selfish, they might actually just be revealing their own selfish, consistencies, right? Or tendencies, shall I say. Now, this phrase is common to the emotional blackmailer. All right. It's used to make you feel guilty for wanting to put yourself first. And in fact, shouldn't you put yourself first? I mean, the only one that I can think of that I would put before myself would be my sons. Okay. So other than that, yeah, you're not going to run that game on me. And none of you should allow people to run that on you either. Because it's not selfish to take care of your own needs. It's not selfish to put yourself first and to think about the decisions that impact you or to base your decisions off of how things are going to impact you as opposed to how they'll impact someone else. And I had a similar situation not too long ago. Someone got upset with me because I wouldn't do something for them because it was going to impede on what I needed to do for myself, or it was going to put me in a predicament to where I could potentially have an issue in the long run. So I'm not going to inconvenience myself so someone else can be satisfied. And that's what no one should do. And if you remember the video that I did where I said there are some things that you should never sacrifice for no reason for anyone whatsoever, if you didn't see that video, please go back and watch. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's never selfish to take care of your own well-being. It's essential to your mental, physical, and your emotional health. All right? And so the next time someone accuses you of being selfish, well, why don't you ask them what they're being at that point? Okay? So like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Rachel says, I love people, but I love me more. Exactly. Okay, exactly. And we should not allow others to, make us feel that we need to place their needs above our own. Because here's the thing, half of the time when you do place other people's needs before yours, or you give more help to other people than you spend trying to fix your own problems, those same people won't do the same for you 9 times out of 10. Okay? 9 times out of 10, they will not do the same thing for you if given the choice or if put in the same predicament. And the fifth thing is they'll start throwing stuff up in your face. After all I've done for you. And then you'll start to notice that the things that they've done for you, did you even ask them to do? No. And some people do things for you specifically so they can use it against you as a weapon later when they want you to do something and you don't want to do it. They'll start bringing up old stuff. And that's one thing I hate about anybody, okay? You start bringing up old stuff from the past. First of all, let's deal with what's going on right here and now. I hate when people gaslight and deflect and bring up old stuff because I don't want to do something or because I've said something or whatever. Please stop. Okay, that is so annoying to me. Okay, now this phrase is like nothing more than a trip down guilt lane. Okay, not even memory lane, but guilt lane. That's what I call it. Okay, they'll say, I've done all this for you. What about when I did this and that? Well, sit down somewhere. Because at the end of the day, no one held a gun to your head. No one made you do it. Anything that you did for anyone, including me, when I deal with these types of people, at the end of the day, you made your choice and a conscious decision to do so. And then I'm quite sure that if someone's done things for me, I've equally done things for them. And I'm sure so have many of you. But the difference is you don't throw it up in their face when you want something and they don't want to comply. You don't bring up old things that you've done. But so many people do that. And clearly, most of these people are often narcissists. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, you see, it's a powerful phrase because it's invoking feelings of indebtedness and obligation, making you feel like you owe them something. And it's almost as if they're saying that, because they've done something for you in the past, that now you owe them. Now, the truth is relationships aren't about keeping score, okay? It's not about tit for tat. It's not about, you do this and I do that. And then if you don't, let me just throw this up. That's not how it's supposed to go. Because when you do something sincerely and from the heart, well, it should not be predicated upon what someone else has done for you or what they can do for you. Everyone has choices. And if someone chooses not to do certain things, who are you to hold something over their head? Okay, make it all make sense. And this is what people often do when they want to cross your boundaries. Okay, they want to guilt trip you and then start start putting you in compromising positions or making you feel indebted to them. And the next one is you always, or you never, or I knew you were going to say that. Okay. These are some of the other phrases that come right out of the Emotional Blackmailer's Handbook, okay? Emotional Blackmailing 101. Please pay attention. I've noticed that they're usually thrown about during arguments and disagreements, okay? You always do this, or you've always said this, or you never do this. And they just leave that, put that out there so they leave no room for compromise. Okay, no room for discussions of compromise. So they make you feel like, this is what you always do. And I've just let you do it for so long and I've let you get away with it. Well, what about me? That's what it is. And then in some cases, they'll accuse you of playing the victim, but in fact, they're the ones playing the victim. When you have to go dig up a whole bunch of crap and then throw that in someone's face, aren't you playing the victim? I'm sorry. Please make it all make sense. You see, this is designed to make you defensive and to divert the conversation from the actual issue at hand. Okay. This happens all the time when you disagree with someone's point of view or when you call them out on something that they've done or said that you didn't like. Okay. But nobody always or never does anything right. Okay. We're humans, not robots, and our behaviors and responses vary depending on different situations. And so if you're a person who sets boundaries and don't allow people to cross them, and then someone else has boundaries, but they've allowed people to cross them, and now since you're speaking on yours, they want to get upset and bring up old stuff. Well, I'm sorry, that makes no sense to me, and it should make any to you because it's in fact nonsensical. Okay, so when I hear these phrases, I recognize them right away. And it's just an attempt to shift the blame and avoid responsibility. Some people don't want to take or accept accountability. And so what they'll do is gaslight and deflect and act like you're the person that's having the problem, that you're causing the problem for them, and all of this. Okay, so please pay attention. But instead of getting on the defensive, what you should do is steer that conversation right back to them. Say, let's talk about the real issue here. Okay, we're not talking about me and what I've done in the past. We're talking about you and what you've done right now. Okay, that's how that conversation should go. That's how that conversation should go. All right. And here's the seventh thing. Don't you trust me? Well, I'm going to tell you like this. The people that I trust, they don't have to ask me if I trust them because they already know. So trust is a fundamental part of a relationship, okay? Whether it's a friendship, or whether it's a working relationship, business relationship, or an intimate relationship. But that phrase, don't you trust me, is used as a weapon often for people who are emotional blackmailers and who engage in manipulation tactics just to get others to do what they want them to do, okay? And so have you ever been in a situation where the question was used to make you feel guilty for questioning or doubting something that didn't feel right to you at the time? Has that ever happened? That person was likely trying to emotionally blackmail you. And if they're implying that the question, if they're trying to say that you questioning them means that you don't trust them, well, that might not even be true. Okay? Just because you have questions doesn't mean you don't trust that person. Just means that you have reservations, you have a mind of your own, and clearly you don't have to agree with everything that the person says. All right? And by the way, trust is earned. It comes through actions. It's not demanded, and it doesn't just come through words, because we can all say whatever, but what you say and what you do are two different things. And it's okay to question people. It doesn't mean that you don't trust them. All right, that's just something they're trying to make you feel guilty about. And the eighth thing is, oh, I thought you loved me. Now, this is what you'll often hear in intimate relationships, okay, when the person's done something shady. This is one of the most manipulative phrases of all, as far as I'm concerned. It's a phrase that immediately triggers a whirlwind of emotions from guilt, shame, sadness, anxiety, even self-doubt. It takes advantage of the deep feelings that you have for the person, using them against you to guilt you into compliance, okay? But love is not a weapon that's supposed to be used as a tool of manipulation. Love is about respect, understanding, and compromise, not coercion or control or guilting someone or deflecting and throwing things up in people's faces that they've told you in confidence, or things that they, you feel that they've done to slight you that should have been addressed when it was done. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. And another thing, Reggie says, truly friends welcome questions. Exactly. Absolutely. Curly Girl says, I love myself better than I love myself. Okay. Now, here's the thing. But of course, DC said, Queen, everything you said applies to my ex-wife. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Now, but here's another thing they'll do. Some people are so caught up and getting what they want in these manipulation tactics that they will literally threaten to do harm to themselves. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone who's controlling, manipulative, who wants everything to go their way? They're possessive and they are so untrusting and always worried and complaining and accusing or making accusatory remarks to you. Now, that's because they don't trust themselves. You see, the problem with the liar, for example, isn't that they always lie. It's that they can't believe the truth when they hear it. Because people who lie, specifically pathological liars, those people lie so much that when someone's speaking the truth to them, they're likely to think that that person's lying because they feel like everybody lies just as much, if not more, than they do, which is real crazy and insidiously obtuse. Okay, please pay attention. But some of these people in their manipulation, they will sit there and threaten that they'll do something to themselves. Oh, if you leave me, I'm going to take myself out. I can't be without you. Yeah, that's all manipulation tactics, 9 times out of 10. Because people who really want to do something to themselves, well, they usually don't give a warning. They just do it. Okay, so that's another tactic that these emotional blackmailers love to use. Okay, so please pay attention and don't fall for the BS. Because, see, these tactics work on people who are weak-minded, and they also work on people who are people pleasers. And they also work on people who have low self-esteem. Now, if any of these things have ever worked on you, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a weak person. You could just be someone who didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, okay? Because that's another thing they do. Some people will make you feel like you're hurting them, like you're making them feel so bad. Oh, woe is me. Okay, and they'll clearly play the victim, but at the same time pretending that's what you're doing. And so they'll try to guilt trip you in that way. Okay, so just pay attention to these things because I find it all nefarious. Rachel said exactly. One thing about that self-harm, we don't talk about it. Just be about it. Exactly. Okay. Like, and let me just tell you all a story. So when I was in college, I had this roommate. Named Angel. And Angel always wanted attention. Okay. And she would do anything to get it. And also, whenever she did something nefarious to any of us, she would play the victim. Okay, that's what she would do. She would always play the victim. And so, when we would get on her, when we would call her out about her BS, she would always play the victim and start bringing up stuff that somebody else did a while ago. Well, if it bothered you so much, you should have said something, girl. Sit down somewhere. And so let me tell you what she did one day. So one day I go to class and I come back from class. Now, mind you, me and a group of our friends, because me and Angel had mutual friends. So me and about maybe 3 or 4 of our friends, we were all upset with Angel because one of our friends, Abby, had let Angel borrow a ring that she wanted to borrow. Now, this ring was like 14 karat white gold, and it was engraved on the inside. It had been engraved by Abby's grandfather. He gave this to her. Well, her grandfather was now deceased. And so the ring was very precious to Abby. It was sentimental value. Mind you, if I were Abby, I would never have let Angel wear it in the first place. But Abby was a people pleaser, and so she did. So she let Angel wear the ring. And so days later, she asked Angel for the ring back. And Angel lied and told her that she'd lost the ring. Now, mind you, we all thought she lost it, and we were still upset because that was careless. How could you be so careless with something that meant so much to Abby, your own friend? But then I happen to find out because I'm roommates with Angel. So I happen to find a piece of paper in the trash can in our room from a pawn shop. So Angel pawned the girl's ring. She went and pawned the girl's ring. She didn't even get much money for it. She probably got like maybe $50. Pawned the girl's ring for $50 and then lied and said she lost it. Well, of course, when I found that receipt from the pawn shop in the trash, I went immediately and gave it to Abby. And I said, she didn't lose your grandfather's ring, girl. She pawned it. And the reason I specifically went and told her is so that she could go down to the pawn shop and get her ring back before the time lapsed and then someone else bought it because it had sentimental value, like I said. So go and give it to Abby, and then our other friends, well, Abby tells them. So we all go down to the pawn shop and we pay to get the ring back for Abby. And so then we go and confront Angel when she gets out of class, and we all go in on her and tell her how low down and dirty that was. Okay, so now we're all going in on her. Well, needless to say, this was just one of many shady things that Angel did. But needless to say, after this is all over, we don't talk to Angel for the rest of the day. No one's fooling with her. So the next day, I come from class, and Angel's lying on her bed. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, Angel is lying on her bed, stretched out as if she's dead, and there's an empty pill bottle lying next to her. So I'm shaking her. I'm like, Angel, Angel, wake up. Angel, are you okay? And I'm shaking her and she's not saying anything. So I immediately call 911 and then I call our friends. And so the ambulance comes, they take Angel to the hospital and we all go to the hospital. And then we get there and guess what? There's nothing wrong with her. And here's the thing. Here's how manipulative she was. I want you to pay attention. She had an empty bottle of pills, but the type of pills that had been in the bottle were muscle relaxants. Now, the reason she used that particular bottle, because she actually was taking muscle relaxants at some point months earlier, because she'd injured herself during an intramural basketball game that we were in. But here's the thing. She specifically used that bottle because she knew that when I was in high school, there was a young man who went to school with me and he took his own life. He came to school after he'd taken an overdose of muscle relaxants. Okay. And then he passed away later on that morning after the ambulance was called to the school and everything. And that really affected me because I had a class with this young man and I told her about this. So, and the reason he passed away is because, muscle relaxants stop your heart because your heart is in fact a muscle. Okay, so his heart stopped and he passed away. So she knew this because I shared this with her. So she knew that me walking in the room, seeing her sprawled out on the bed with an empty bottle of muscle relaxants, first thing I'm going to think is that she's taken an overdose of these muscle relaxers. And now I'm panicking now because I know what happened to this friend. Red said, sorry to hear that, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. His name was Brian Nady, and he was only 17 years old. But thank you. And so with that all being said, well, when we get to the hospital, like I said, we find out that there's nothing even wrong with her. Yeah, nothing wrong with her. It was all a scam. And here's the thing. She did all of this to make us feel bad because we had all gone in on her about pawning Abby's grandfather's ring and then lying about it. So these are the links that people like her will go to. Okay? She sounds crazy and one of those emotional vampires, says Prince Perfect. Yes. Okay? Terry Hinn said, messing with people's feelings. Exactly. But course DC said, Queen, you played ball? Yes, I did. Okay, volleyball and basketball. And I played intramural basketball in college. But I wasn't on the team because I didn't play basketball in high school. Okay, so anyway, this is all so crazy. Terry Hinn said, sorry for your loss, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Claudia said, that's low down. Rachel said, there would be nothing wrong until we got back to the dorm. Exactly. Okay, this girl was just very manipulative. Needless to say. So these are some of the things that people will do. They will even go so far as to threaten to take themselves out. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, that's just all talk and BS. These are very dangerous people in some cases also, in my opinion. Now I'm going to show you all a few videos of what some people on Spiritual TikTok posted about these emotional blackmailers, okay? Please pay attention.
Blackmail. Guilt trips you, gaslights you, threatens to leave you, isolates you from family and friends, and gives you the silent treatment. This is the most harmful of all the psychological abuse tactics that the narcissist uses, because what it causes is that it causes you to feel confusion, loneliness, isolation. It causes you to doubt your perception and your sense of reality, and ultimately it causes you to feel a sense of brokenness. This is what breaks your spirit. It's very effective because it taps into your guilt mindset. It's fearful. You feel obligated to do the things that the narcissist says. And then, so in a sense, it strips you of your power. It's causing very negative emotions like anxiety, depression, fear. Most of the time, you tend to feel trapped, powerless, and like you have no control over your life. Abuse techniques like gaslighting, stonewalling, projection, and even verbal and physical abuse are a form of psychological abuse that fall under the umbrella of emotional blackmail. After using emotionally blackmailing tactics, the narcissist feels a sense of power because they have guilt tripped you, exploited, controlled you, leading you to have fear and guilt, and like you have no way out. This means that you hand over your sense of power to them, and they leave you feeling worthless and ultimately dependent on them.
So that never works on me. I'm sorry, you can't emotionally blackmail me because at the end of the day, and you definitely can't guilt trip me into anything. Because if I've done something wrong to anyone, I don't care who it is, once you let me know that you feel like I wronged you, and if I'm really sorry, I'll apologize. Because I'm not going to apologize ever unless I actually mean it. And once I've given you a sincere apology, there's nothing left to do but to move on and move forward. You're not going to hold it over my head. You're not going to make me feel bad about it. That's what you're not going to do. Because I'm quite sure that in some way, somewhere, somehow, that same person has done something nefarious to someone else. Maybe it wasn't me, but clearly to someone else. Okay, Aeon says, don't let anyone or anything dictate your thoughts or your actions. I always say that, absolutely. Reggie says self-doubt. Yes, okay. Okay, Reggie says, me either. I'm open to criticism and apologize. Exactly. That's what I prefer for you to do. If I'm doing something that you don't like, something that makes you feel bad about yourself or uncomfortable, or just makes you feel like I'm just being mean-spirited, please, by all means, let me know, okay? At the end of the day, because I have no problem with correction. But some people do. You see, some people don't want to be corrected and chastised, and they don't want to be held accountable, and so they'll just keep pointing the finger of blame and shame at someone else. Please pay attention. Now, here is the next video.
This relationship advice time. Today's topic, emotional blackmail and emotional abuse. Because what we're not going to do in 2023 is succumb to manipulative behavior. Send this to someone that needs to hear it. I'm going to give you 5 signs to look out for. Because here's the thing about emotional blackmail. It's usually sneaky, manipulative, and very hard to detect. And by the time you do detect it, you're usually a little too far in, and it is hard to get out. This is especially for my sisters that come from a culture where this behavior is normalized. So if I can help even one of you out, my job is done. We're going to start by understanding what emotional blackmail is, because what I don't want to see happen is the word being tossed around like how we toss around the word toxic and narcissistic. Emotional blackmail is quite literally someone using manipulative tactics to control another person's behaviors, their thoughts, their emotions through guilt, fear, and other negative emotions. The victim of emotional blackmail will often feel guilty, anxious, responsible for their spouse or their partner's feelings. Now, here are the 5 signs to look out for. And really, it's about it becoming a pattern. A one-off is okay, all right. When it becomes a pattern, you've got a problem. Number 1, constant guilt tripping. You're constantly made to feel guilty and responsible for the other person's emotions and their overall well-being. They might not outwardly say things to you, but they're in your head. This one I see happening often, especially in the South Asian culture. It is isolation. Your spouse, partner, whatever, starts to isolate you from your family, from your friends. It starts off slow and you're slowly not allowed to hang out with certain friends. They might not even say that you're not allowed to hang out with your friends, but you just notice over time that you're seeing your friends less and less. And it becomes a huge task to even try to ask to go out with your friends or with your family. This limits your support network and ends up creating weakness for you. 3, manipulative behavior. This umbrella covers so many different types of behaviors, but giving a person an ultimatum, saying, well, if you're going to do this, then this is going to happen, or if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. Withholding affection or not speaking to them, stonewalling them, giving them the silent treatment, using your vulnerabilities against you. Number 4, gaslighting. We've heard this word a lot on TikTok. Your emotions are downplayed, discredited, not acknowledged. You're made to feel crazy or like you're overreacting if you do try to explain your feelings or express your emotions. And 5, and this is the biggest one, is the emotional roller coaster. What I also like to refer to as the cycle of abuse. You have these really great times where you're so in love and you're feeling like you're being supportive, only for it to follow with a steep downhill because of the other person's behavior, leaving you emotionally drained. Now, I understand that if you're in an emotionally abusive relationship where you're being emotionally blackmailed and manipulated, it can be so complicated. But the first step is recognizing and acknowledging that that's your reality, being honest with yourself. Only then can you start taking steps to take back your power, to have a
Okay, so please pay attention. And when she mentioned stonewalling, that's absolutely what some of these narcissists will do. Okay, some of these emotional blackmailers, they'll just stop talking to you and expect for you to guess what's going on. I'm not going to guess. I'll just flat out ask you. And if it's something that I did that was warranted, well, then, like I said, I can apologize and take ownership of it at the end of the day, more than some people. Okay, so let's go to the next video. And here's the thing, keep in mind, she was talking about relationships. Okay. I'm not just talking about intimate relationships. I'm talking about friendships and sometimes even business relationships. Okay. A lot of people are control freaks and they want you to do what they want. And here's another thing too. Some people, like I said, they'll bully their friends, or they expect that if they're mad at someone, then their friends should be mad at that person too. And also, what they'll do in some cases is they'll try to, once they realize they have no control over you, that they can't make you bend to their will, then if they can't control you, and if they can't paint a picture of you how they want it to be seen, well, what they'll then start trying to do is try to control the way other people perceive you. And we've talked about this before, when they start telling lies and saying things about you, trying to make you out to be the bad guy. Okay, at the end of the day, that's just so that they can try to control the way other people view and perceive you. Please pay attention.
Some people need to hear this. Emotional blackmail does not work on everybody. If you try and emotionally blackmail some people, you will only hurt yourself trying to hurt them. Because what happens is that they notice it and they emotionally check out. They will look you dead in the eye and let you know they do not care. Because they don't play that. As an example, I can't be in a relationship with someone who says to me, "Oh, Tony, if you don't do this, I will leave." Because I will hit you with, "Okay, leave then." Trying to emotionally blackmail a very observant and arguably petty person will not work, because they will push you to deliver the threat that you are threatening to deliver. In fact, they may even deliver the threat for you. "I will hit you with, leave then. You're not even? Okay, I will leave. It's been good knowing you." And sadly, before you know it, you're the person left apologizing, talking about, "Oh, but I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it." If you didn't mean it, why did you threaten it? If you didn't mean it, why did you try and manipulate the situation to your advantage? If you have a grievance, if you have an issue, discuss it like an adult. Not, "Oh, if you do this, I will do this." Okay, do it. Do it. Let's see how stupid you can be. Do it. I will look from the sidelines. I may even cheer you on. Do it. Try me.
Okay, that clearly doesn't work on me because I am as petty as they come. Please pay attention. How many times have I told you? So some of you, Prince of Paraphernalia was asking for the other lady's TikTok on the video before this last one. Her TikTok is @Neely, and that's Neely, @Neely. Okay, now here's the last video.
10 signs you're being emotionally blackmailed by a narcissist. Recognizing emotional blackmail in a narcissistic relationship can be crucial for protecting one's emotional well-being. Here are some signs to watch out for. 1. Manipulative threats. The narcissistic partner may use threats to get their way, such as threatening to leave, harm themselves, or spread damaging information. 2. Conditional love. They may withdraw affection or attention when their demands aren't met, making the victim feel like they must comply to maintain the relationship. 3. Guilt and obligation. The narcissist may use guilt tripping and emotional manipulation to make the victim feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. 4. Victimizing themselves. They might portray themselves as the victim, claiming the victim's actions are hurting them, even if it's not true. 5. Exploiting vulnerabilities. The narcissist may use knowledge of the victim's vulnerabilities or past traumas to emotionally manipulate and control them. 6. Withholding support. They may withhold emotional support or affection when the victim is going through a difficult time, using it as leverage to get whatever it is that they want. 7. Public shaming. The narcissist might publicly shame or humiliate the victim as a means of control. 8. Extreme reactions. The narcissistic partner may react dramatically to small issues, blowing them out of proportion to make the victim feel guilty or responsible. 9. Gaslighting. The narcissist may deny their abusive behavior, invalidate the victim's feelings, and distort reality to make the victim doubt their perception of the relationship. And finally, 10. Isolation. They may isolate the victim from their friends and family, making it harder for them to seek support or leave the relationship.
Okay, please pay attention. I absolutely agree with everything that all of them said collectively. Okay, and another thing is sometimes these people will do these things to try and teach you a lesson. Okay, and so you may actually learn a lesson. And after I learned the lesson, then what? I'm sorry, what next? Okay, at the end of the day, if they really mean you some good, they will in fact want to teach you a lesson, but there's a way to do it. Okay? Not through threats and coercion and trying to withdraw and play petty little silly mind games. All right? So anyway, Nandy says, math. Doesn't it seem like the ones most out of control seek to control others? Sigh, shaking my head. Yes, this is absolutely true. This is absolutely true because they can't control certain things in their own lives, so they absolutely try to control others. This is a very good way to put it, beloved. Absolutely. Specifically, friends that are close to them and people that they're involved in relationships with. Okay? This is what they do. If they're mad at you, they want their friends to be mad at you. Or if you're not doing what they want to paint you out to be the bad guy. That's how that goes. Please pay attention. Okay, so I hope you all got something out of that. Okay, everyone, please be sure to like and share this video. Now for the members, here's what I'm going to do. Excuse me. For the members, tomorrow, I'm going to go live and we're going to talk about that eclipse that's coming April the 8th. Okay, it's going to make an X across the United States. Now, I talked about that a couple of months ago, maybe a month or two ago, for the members who have the higher frequency. That was their master class. But I'm going to show you all some of that information, the members. I'm going to show you some of that tomorrow and tell you what you need to do to prepare for it. Okay, because this is all very important information. All right, please pay attention. It's already been prophesied and foretold. Okay, so we're going to get into that tomorrow. Terry Hill says, this was awesome. Thank you, Queen. You're welcome, beloved. Jonah said that was good. Thank you. Okay. Claudette said, I will catch the replay afterwards. All right, beloved. So with that all been said, make sure you follow the meditation channel. Timber Dan just put the link in the chat. For those of you who are not following my meditative channel, the universal language, U is universal. It's spelled YOU, universal. So make sure you follow that because it has very good meditative sounds for you to listen to as you rest, when you're meditating, and anytime to raise your vibrations. Okay, so I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives.